Um,
Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's Randy Byrd, Coach Randy Byrd, and I'm here every single week, Tuesday at 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern. It's like 9 in the morning in Hawaii and Asia. I don't even know. My VAs go to bed at like 7 in the morning when we get up. So, but if you're tuning in, thank you for being here. I'm here every single week to answer your questions and to go over things that you might need help on in your business. And sometimes we get one person and you get me for a full half an hour, and other times we get 12 people and you might not get your questions asked and answered. But today I'm here and I'm open to questions. Stephanie, before we went on the recording, you had a question about your CRM. Um, in your words, haven't been super strong in the past in a CRM and the usage of that. And so, how can I help today?
yeah, thanks. Just trying to really, I guess, get a good handle on how things integrate with each other, how they flow from one platform to the other, and what platform is going to ultimately be the best use to operate my business, if that makes sense.
It
So
does make sense.
I've got my website
Okay.
that is, I think, pointing to my CRM.
Is it a Lofty website?
It is Luxury Presence.
Okay, luxury presence is not lofty, but it can they can talk to each other.
I think they are connecting to talk to each
Okay.
other. I'm currently trying to get everything set up with Happy Grasshopper, and that
Yep.
should hopefully launch next week. And
Okay.
I know that is integrated with my CRM.
Okay.
But then I was recently introduced to Sisu,
Sisu.
and I have not been able to connect Lofty to Sisu because I think that it's a free version that I am on,
Mhm.
and I don't think
Yeah.
they talk to each other yet.
And Jen can help with that. She specifically is pretty operational in Sisu. I'm not. I don't use Sisu. My team does, but I haven't coached in it and been in it to any kind of level to where I can speak to it. But let's back up a little bit.
Okay. So that kind of gives you my global, and
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
I
trying to,
appreciate that. And so you've got a lot of moving parts. Let me ask you, have you used a CRM in the past in any kind of a capacity that you feel is proficient?
no.
Okay, which is you're in the majority, right? Most agents work out of their cell phone
Yeah.
and that's their database. So a CRM or contact resource management system, there's a lot of different acronyms, but basically it's your communication hub. And it should be the main hub that everything else feeds to, everything from Google Calendar to Sisu to Realtor and Zillow leads, the whole thing, right? So let's look at it from that perspective today.
Okay.
And let me walk you through, and I'll even show you on my Lofty some best practices, because
Okay.
the number one thing to do is get in a habit that everything goes into the CRM. Even if it's a placeholder like a Rolodex, it at least has to go there, or else you're failing, right? It's just you have to start with that fundamental function of it. And so the very basics are name, email address, phone number, and then we could start expanding quite deeply from that point. But at the
Hmm.
very minimum, for everybody watching, you want to get in a habit of being able to very quickly add people to your CRM. By the way, desktop, which is Lofty on your computer, or Lofty has an app, which I very much enjoy. It's one of the few apps that's actually very easy to use on an app basis. It's a little small, for older guys like me, it's a little small. But compared to some of the other CRMs that have native apps, it's one of the better ones I've seen. You could literally do everything on the phone, and adding contacts and finding contacts on the fly is really easy. So today we're going to focus on desktop. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull up my CRM just so you can, I'll share my screen so you can get a feel of what exactly that looks like when we're adding contacts and going through the process of that. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. You should see my Lofty page now.
Yes,
Is it bigger now?
it is.
Okay, cool. So this is my Lofty page. Wherever you are, as soon as you log in, you're going to be on this main page like this, right?
Hmm.
I'm not going to get into a big lofty training about all the things. I just want to teach you the basics. So the very very high level basics are the if you hit the Lofty button, that's like your main Lofty page, right? Kind of like a home page, if you will. I never go here, right?
Okay.
So I always focus on people because that's your database. Let me turn off my filters so you see everything. Okay. This is my database. You notice that I have how many leads right here?
48,000 or something.
48,506. 20 years I've been putting everybody into my database, right? Even somebody that calls in just with a stupid question about a sign, I try to capture their name and phone number at very minimum because they may come back later or it may become a marketing opportunity. So I treat it as everybody goes in here. If I import agents that came to open houses, or if I just import a whole neighborhood of potential sellers through a title company, they all go into my database, right? So that's why it's excessive. But the very first side of this is the people page.
Mhm.
Within Lofty, you have two things. You have people and then segments that are under this tab.
Okay.
This is putting people into categories. So for this conversation, we're going to focus on people. Okay. So people, if I want to add a lead into the system, it is literally as simple as clicking the bright blue label over here that says add lead. And then you could have all these conversations with yourself of what you want to do.
Mhm.
If you want it as a team, like the whole company can see the lead, you could put it as company. Most of mine go in as personal.
Yeah.
You put it as what kind of lead it is. It's important to classify this so you could search it later. But let's say, for instance, I was going to add a buyer in the system. I could do that. If it's a buyer and seller, I could do two. If
Mhm.
it's an investor, I could pick that. If it's an agent, by the way, I had this added to Lofty years ago because they didn't have an agent type. And I'm like, that's all I deal with, right? With
Yeah.
recruiting and so on. So we had that added. But for the nature of this conversation, let's say it's a buyer and seller. Okay. We're going to put their first name in as buyer and their last name in as seller. Okay. Email is not mandatory. Phone's not mandatory, but you need something in here. At the very minimum, I'd focus on phone number because a lot of times you don't have their email. But if they come through an email site or whatever it is, but let's just put something in here. Platt at Platt530 at gmail.com. And I'll put just a phone number in here. I'll put my actual cell. Okay. All these things where you could put it as this and that, it doesn't matter. I already have that
Mhm.
number in here. So I'm actually going to remove it and I'm just going to make up a number 1515. Okay. So I made up a number. I put it in the system.
Okay.
Now you have to give consent. Do you have consent to call opt in, text opt in, email opt in? I know we're recording this and it gets out to the World Wide Web. Everybody's opted in if they're in my web, right? If I've taken the effort to put them into my system, I'm opting them in. They can opt out later, but I'm not cold importing 1,000 leads and opting them in, right? So you do have to do it this way. You have to say that you have these opt-in opportunities. If you do not, or if you feel out of integrity with doing this, just click no, and it will not let you text until they get an opt-in. Okay.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
opt in everybody. It's important because it defaults to no. Right.
Okay.
Address. If you start putting an address in, it will start filling it out for you. So it will put all that stuff in for you. If you know
Mhm.
the address, if whatever it happens to be, you could start picking up cities and stuff. It will do it automatically for you. So for instance, if you put in an address and pulls it up, automatically populates those other things. You can come down, you can put a lot of things in like birthday.
Mhm.
Source is where they came from. Like for instance, if you wanted to put open house as a source, you can. Pipeline and segment is a way for you to structure your database. You don't have to do any of this. By the way, at any time I can hit save and oh, there my email is already under another lead. So let's
Okay.
just go Randy B142 at gmail.com. That's not real, but I'm making it up. So I'm saving that lead into my database. Okay.
Okay.
It will automatically put it at the very top of my list as the newest lead entered by registration date here.
Okay.
You could always go back and change this by clicking the button. the oldest registration or the newest registration. Okay. So that's an easy way to find it. The next way is the little hourglass here. You could just say buyer and it pulls it up
Mhm.
right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've used that.
So once you're in the lead, now you could
Mhm.
start changing things. You could either change it by clicking on pipeline and you could say attempted real estate sales or whatever you want it to be.
Mhm.
Or you could edit the contact by this little next to the details button, that little contact button, which brings up the contact like we were starting with, right?
Right.
So say for instance, I didn't put much details, but I want to, I could do all this here. I can say, okay, let's put their birth date as the year doesn't matter to me, but January 12th, my beautiful wife's. Okay. So we're going to put their birthday January 12th. We got them as an open house. As a tag, I could add anything I want again. Let's just say it is a buyer that wants to buy up to 400 grand. You can add those kind of things. You could add tags. I have tags in here from you name it. I've got all kinds of millions of tags, right? But let's just say they came to Laura Vista's open house. I could put that tag in there, and I'll show you why it's tags are powerful in a minute. If it's a buyer and you have time frames, you want to put all this in 1 to 3 months, you can. I don't use a lot more of this stuff. Has a mortgage, yes or no? It's just got a lot of questions.
Okay.
Totally up to you, right? You can come all the way down here. You could add phone numbers. You could do that. You can also auto email subscribe them into smart plans. You could auto subscribe them into property alerts, and you could auto subscribe them into market reports if you want to. If I'm adding an agent that I talk to in open house, I don't do all the market reports and stuff, but if it's a buyer or seller, I do. Okay.
So is the market
So,
report something that is in addition?
yes. So, market reports is an addition to an auto property alert. So, an auto property alert is like, I'm looking for 1,400 square foot, three
Right.
bedroom,
It's
two
like what we
bath.
do with the MLS.
Yep. Correct.
And this
And
is
then a
a
market
separate,
report is like a monthly overview of the whole market.
and this would be a separate fee that you would then be paying like an
Yep.
add-on
These would be two
subscription
separate
add-on.
emails they're getting, right? Also, this little double arrow drop down has more things under it. You have a whole bunch more things. You could custom add these. You notice that I've custom added their estimated value, their how much volume they do in the MLSs for my
Mhm.
capacity and like agent attraction. I could put their corded information in here, like their Facebook profile. For instance, if I wanted to go to a Facebook group like this one and copy it, this is just one of my open Attract Boss call groups. And then I went back in here, I could paste that into the Facebook profile, and you'll see in a minute it shows up in their profile.
Okay.
I can come all the way down to the very bottom where you have, again, a whole bunch of things. I like putting their Zillow profile in there if it's agents. You could do all this stuff. And then when you get done, you hit enter, and you'll notice that it put their Facebook profile here. So if I wanted to find them later very easily, I could look up their Facebook profile very
Okay.
quickly with a click. Okay. So it's got a tag Laura Vista. So now let's go back to all my people. I got 48,000. And let's say, I want to find that person. I don't remember who it was, but they came to the open house at Laura Vista. I can click on the filter button here, come down to tags, and say, I want to look for any tag that has Laura Vista in it. And there's Laura Vista, and it will pull up anybody that has a Laura Vista tag in their
Okay. Yeah.
database. Okay. So going back to people again, it's going to have it up at the top. I'm going to click on it. Now you have lots of options from this particular point. You've got them in the system. You've created them. You can assign them to other team members. You could launch a smart plan. You could do all that from the contact record. What I really like is up here, these three dots. This is the
Yeah.
nurturing stuff that you could do with this lead. This is where the CRM becomes powerful now, right? So I can click on this and I could say, I want to add property alerts. And I could set up property alerts. Let's just say I want to do Bend, Oregon, right? Bend, Oregon. I want to do minimum price 400 to 600. Whatever I want to do, I can set up these alerts and I could get really in granular detail from kitchens to type of countertops to anything I want to do in here. Really pretty cool. And then that person will be getting these updates every time a property comes on that matches that criteria. That's a powerful tool. The other thing is a market report. I could add a market report for a city, zip code, or area. So let's say we do Salem, Oregon. Do Salem, Oregon city. I want it to go out weekly, bi-monthly, quarterly, semi, or annually, right? I could choose.
Mhm.
The fastest is monthly. They will get a market report every single month for Salem for the rest of their life until they opt out of it. Okay.
Okay.
The market reports are very cool. Let's see if it shows it. Let me go back to um, where to go? I think I lost it because I added it.
Added it already. Does it remove it
Yeah,
maybe?
let me go ahead and market snapshot. Oh, here it is. Market report Salem. Let me delete it. And so I could preview it as I add it. So we're going to go back in here. We're going to add a market report. We're going to go to Salem, pick Salem. And before you launch it, you could preview it to see what it looks. Okay, we don't currently have enough data for this area. So that's why it wasn't pulling up.
Okay.
Something's not jiving right now, but it actually works very well.
Okay.
So for some reason, just not reporting very well right this second. Lots of other things you could do within this. You could do mailing labels. You could do a million different things in here.
Mm-hmm.
But really, from a basic perspective, I want you to look at it from what we've covered so far. Where did they come in at? What's
Mm-hmm.
their status? You could change it to hot, warm, cold, hot buyer, hot seller. All these are customizable.
Okay.
And when you go to people and you have all your contacts up, right? We're going to take off this filter we had again. Got up all my contacts. You could set up these pipelines to make it super easy to go through your database, right? So for instance, if I want to look at every hot buyer and seller I have, all I have to do is click this and both of them will show up there because I just put her under buyer seller.
Okay.
You could also make a pipeline right here, super simple, right? You could say you're in Park City, right? Park City buyers, for instance. You can make Park City buyers. Hit OK. I've added that
Where
pipeline. It will be
where
at the
did
very
you
bottom.
click
Say again.
on? Where did you go to add the pipeline?
So when you are on this My Leads page,
Okay.
this is all the pipelines across the top of the page. At the very
Okay.
far right is a little wheel.
Oh, it's hiding behind the Zoom screen.
Yep.
Okay.
So you click
Okay.
that and then you could add it.
Okay.
And then again, it's at the bottom because I just added it. You could grab it and you could drag it all the way to the top if you want. So now it's at the
Okay.
top. I hit save, right? And then now under this buyer seller, I could put Park City buyers. And I've
Okay.
changed the pipeline. Pipeline is only one thing. They can only be in one pipeline at a time. So if they're in hot buyer and seller, they can't be also in Park City. It's one or the other. Segments, you could pick many. Like let's just say that they're in J system. They're also a KW email I sent. I've identified them. They're also part of Realty Connect. I could add many of those segments in here, and I could search by all of them.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, when you look at the contact, everything in this area is really what we're talking about.
So how does that all generate into tasks?
Okay. So when you're in a contact like I am with this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
The tasks are over here in this area.
So I need to assign my own task
So
to
you can
that contact.
you can assign a task like call today, right? And then you can make it a call and you could say, I want to do it today. You can give it a specific time and date.
Okay.
If you wanted to, you could say, I want to call today at 2 p.m. and then call me at the due time. So the system will actually call you at the due time to remind you to make that call.
Okay.
Okay. So I just added a call at today at 2 p.m.
Okay.
What's cool is if I go into my calendar now at the top, it will tell me all the tasks I have today. You can see that I have this call today at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. So I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but we're
No, it's
recording.
fine. Yeah.
Yep.
Fine
So
for me.
back into the contact, right? I have the ability to launch a task. I also have the ability to launch a smart plan that will do the tasks automatically. So like
And
if
so
I
then
go
I
to
would need to set up my own smart
there's
plans,
actually a
right?
bunch of smart plans already in here. So
Okay.
like here's a seller no response AI, okay? So I'm just going to click this. I'm going to start it. Now, one thing is remember, you have to have them labeled as a seller to have the seller campaign show up or a
Okay.
buyer to have a buyer campaign show up. Okay. So, but smart plans, I just launched this smart plan on them. So now if we go over to activities, you're going to know that there's another activity that auto populated. So how have you been is going to come out on October 7th in a week. They're going to get a message that says, how have you been? And it's literally just an auto email saying, how have you been?
Okay.
AI will also start communicating with them if you have that feature turned on and set up. So it could be very powerful for nurturing what you're doing in your system.
Okay.
Okay. If I want to complete that call task, all I have to do is click it and it's gone.
Okay.
Okay. Or I could open it up and look at it here and change it. Like if it's saying I want to call them on October 7th, I go, I'm out of town till the 10th. Let's just call them on the 10th. Hit save. It will automatically change that time frame on your calendar when you're following up.
Okay.
Okay. The other really most important part of this thing's notes. You could log a call, log a text, log an email. I just put them all on note, right? I don't get into all these little details,
Okay.
although they look different. Like if I say test here and I hit log a call, you'll notice that will show up right here as a phone call
Mm,
in their contacts. If I do it a note, if I go note test here, it will again log it as a note rather than
mm.
a call.
Okay.
Okay. The importance of this is later you could look at all your calls just by clicking this. I want to look at just the calls. I want to look at just the notes. I want to look at just the
Okay.
emails.
Okay.
Right. So if you label them correctly, there is value in that. You could also look at the system log of everything we've done on this contact. And you could also look at the consent that was done, right?
Okay.
So when you have the ability to have all this going on now is when you can really start nurturing your database with great value.
So is there a way to have that text and phone sync up to your phone? Like if, or do you need to be like
So
you see what I'm saying? Like if I want to make sure that my text messages are syncing with the contacts in Lofty, is there a way to do that?
yeah, so basically when you text anybody in Lofty, it's texting through the native app. This is my smart number, right? So this it's coming from the smart number. But you have the ability to receive a text and Lofty to tell you you got a text. You have to go into the app to respond to it,
Mm,
not natively going between the two numbers.
okay.
But
So
for
there
it to
really
track
isn't a
it in
way.
Lofty, yeah, to track it in Lofty, you have to do it from here.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I made up that number. I don't want to text a strange person, but that's how you would send a text. Again, you could call them by clicking this, and it's going to pull up the dialer and call them. I'm going to hang up because I don't know who that number belongs to. But this is where the power is. And then here's what's
Okay.
cool about this. This is what I do when I am in when I'm in a note. I speak into it. Just set up a training with Stephanie during our coaching call. We went over Lofty, adding new contacts. We talked about how to text. We talked about the tags and how to set up buyers and sellers and smart plan automations, the whole thing. Um, Okay, so I'll just hit that, and then so I can speak into Lofty, do very quick notes, putting things in there that are super important. When I'm talking to somebody, like I have them on the phone, I could actually hit the record button
Mm,
and record our
where
conversation.
can you show me where you're recording or where you're clicking for a voice?
So when you hit add note, I'm actually using a app on my phone on my computer where
Mm,
where I just hit a speaker button and it's recording the conversation now.
oh, okay.
Okay. That's an add-on. Mac has it automatically.
Yeah.
With Windows, you have to add that little speaker icon. I don't know if you can see it down here at the bottom of my screen. It's the voice
Um,
typing launcher, it's called.
no, I can't see it at the bottom of your screen, but I'm on a Mac too.
Okay. So on a Mac, if you it depends on what you have it set up, but if you hit the function button on the bottom left twice, it will open up the speaker.
Oh, okay. All
But
right.
there's other a lot easier ways to do it. But
Okay.
okay, so that's kind of an overview of Lofty today on the entry of information from a basic perspective.
Okay.
Okay? Any quick questions before we wrap up today? I got my next call.
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, we'll have that training on our coaching call and on our YouTube channel and all the things. But I appreciate you being here. Thanks for everybody else watching the call after the fact. But if you have a question, bring it to the coaching call and we'll handle it for you.
Thanks, Randy.
Appreciate it. Have a
Okay.
great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye for now.